Judge. Hadeeds must wait, declines to fast-track couple's legal challenge by Ricky Ramdas. If businessman Dominic Hadeed is not released from prison detention soon, his health could deteriorate to the point where he suffers permanent damage or even loses his life. That was the warning from Hadeed's legal team yesterday as he and his wife, Genevieve, appeared via a virtual link from prison during a marathon high court hearing over their continued detention under the state of emergency. Justice Vigil Paul heard more than 5 hours of submissions before declining to immediately fast-track the couple's constitutional challenge. Instead, he dealt with a series of procedural issues, allowing their attorneys to file an application seeking to have their medical expert recognized by the court before the matter returns on July 17th. The latest courtroom battle came just one day after the Hadeeds filed an appeal against an earlier ruling of Justice Frank Seepersad, who refused on June 30th to order their release, pending the determination of their claim for judicial review. In that appeal, the couple contend that Justice Seepersad placed undue reliance on untested intelligence, alleging they were involved in a conspiracy to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Attorney General John Jeremy, and other senior government officials, while giving insufficient weight to their constitutional right to liberty. They are seeking an order from the Court of Appeal directing their immediate release or, alternatively, allowing them to remain confined at their West Moorings home under police supervision until their constitutional claim is determined. Hadeed's medical condition. Yesterday's proceedings, however, centered largely on Dominic Hadeed's medical condition. In a certificate of urgency filed before the court, his attorneys argued that the matter required the court's immediate attention because his continued detention was already affecting his health. The conditions of detention have prevented him from receiving the long-standing medical care which he had been prescribed and has been receiving prior to detention and which he requires, with the result that there is a real possibility of long-term permanent damage to his health and a real risk to his life, the application stated. The application further warned that Hadeed, the owner of Blue Waters Products Ltd., has serious and in some respects life-threatening medical conditions that cannot be adequately managed while he remains in custody. According to the court filing, Hadeed suffers from Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, a progressive neurological disorder that requires uninterrupted daily physiotherapy to prevent further muscle deterioration and loss of mobility. He is also being treated for chronic lymphocytic lymphoma/small lymphocytic lymphoma, a blood cancer that has left him immunocompromised and particularly vulnerable to infection. The filing said he also suffers from chronic thrombocytopenia, which significantly increases the risk of severe bleeding following even minor trauma. His attorneys argued that the conditions under which he is being held have compounded those risks. He is presently held in unsanitary conditions, the application stated, adding that he has been unable to properly use the medically prescribed CPAP machine, upon which he depends each night to breathe safely while he sleeps. Instead, he has been forced at times to rely on a less efficient substitute battery-powered portable machine. The urgency application also warned that Hadeed's current environment exposes him to an increased risk of both physical trauma and infectious illness, concerns that are heightened because of his compromised immune system and bleeding disorder. No application asking court to recognize doctor as expert witness. The hearing took a significant turn when Justice Paul upheld objections by state attorneys Gerald Ramdeen and Diadai Harapal to portions of an affidavit filed by Hadeed's longtime physician, Dr. Jacqueline Pereira Sabga. The judge accepted the state's submission that parts of Dr. Sabga's evidence relied on reports prepared by specialists at the Mayo Clinic in Florida and therefore amounted to hearsay. He also noted that no application had been filed asking the court to recognize her as an expert witness. Following the ruling, senior counsel Douglas Mendez, one of the couple's lead attorneys, sought an adjournment to today to regularize the position by filing the appropriate application and additional medical material. Hadeed's lawyer, Douglas Mendez, SC. The atmosphere later became tense after Ramdeen informed the court that the state intended to file a separate application seeking to strike out further portions of the claimant's evidence, but was unable to do so by tomorrow as suggested by Mendez. Mendez in turn accused the state of attempting to prolong the proceedings until the state of emergency expires. They are delaying in the hope that we do not get a result before the state of emergency is in existence, Mendez said. The state is using the rules against my client to keep them in detention. Ramdeen rejected the allegation, insisting that any delay was the result of deficiencies in the claimant's evidence rather than any attempt by the state to frustrate the proceedings. He also referred to his responsibilities in several state entities, saying he had numerous public duties to perform. Matter to be recalled July 17. Justice Paul granted the Hadeeds leave to file their application seeking to have Dr. Sabga recognized as an expert witness. He ordered the state to file its strikeout application by July 16 and fixed July 17 for the matter to be recalled. In dismissing their urgency application, the judge also directed the couple to bear the state's legal costs. Dominic and Genevieve Hadeed have been detained since June 24 under preventive detention orders signed by Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander. Although police have alleged that intelligence links them to a conspiracy to assassinate senior government officials, including the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, neither has been charged with any criminal offense. In their certificate of urgency, the Hadeeds' attorneys argued that the case raises issues affecting hundreds of citizens detained under the emergency regulations and urged the court to act immediately to secure the liberty of the citizen.